Okay, so you can't be involved with old 78 records, shellac ones I mean, for very long before coming across some broken or cracked ones. And I have a whole drawer of them here. And I've got a little note in the drawer. I do tend to put little bits of paper in drawers to remind myself what's supposed to be in there. But these are broken ones which are destined to be repaired, or I hope to repair. And the damage comes in different forms. I mean, this little mimosa here, it's got some damage there. It's actually got a little bit of a crack forming there and some damage on the rim, so I can probably do something to shore that one up. This little Marvel here has a bit of a crack in it, and I think that crack is quite an old crack, but I can still probably repair that. And I have shown videos previously where I have reattached bits of broken records, you know, with some degree of success. It's quite difficult to get them perfect. In fact, I think it's impossible to get them perfect. So in this video, I'm going to have a go at repairing at least one record. We'll see how we get on. This is not going to be a tutorial. I will show what I'm doing, but I am experimenting with a technique that I have been thinking about, but have actually only attempted for the very first time today. So for this experiment, I'm going to use two records. I'm going to use this Columbia here that's got a fine crack in it there. I don't know if that's coming out on camera. It is pretty fine. I'm also going to use this little Marvel here that's got a rather older, rather more visible crack there. Hopefully that's showing up. Now it is Saturday morning and there are people working in their gardens and kids playing, people driving cars around and the like, so hopefully not much of that comes through, but just in case it does. You may also hear some birds song. So the plan is that I'm going to use something a bit like a staple to hold the crack together. I'm going to drill some holes using this very small drill here. This is a little Archimedean drill where you move this bit up and down. This is vintage, in fact it's probably antique. It's made of brass. It's got a very fine drill bit in. I did make a note actually of the drill bit size. What did I do with it? 0.78 millimeter drill. I don't think it matters greatly. Something fairly small. And I'm using this wire here. I have no idea what this wire is. It's about third of a millimeter. I think 0.32 I measured it. I think it's copper. I think it's probably nickel plated copper, but again it's just some random wire I picked up at a car boot sale. It could be craft wire, it could be some sort of electrical wire, I don't know. Anyway, as I said, this isn't a tutorial, this is just an experiment, but I think it's only fair to explain what I'm doing as I go along. So I've got a pad of paper here really just to protect the bench from drilling. I did I don't know if it's visible, but here I did actually drill into the desk or into the bench at some point a few years ago, and that's always annoyed me a little bit that I did that. Just didn't put any protection down. So I'm going to drill either side of this crack when I find it again. Very fine, I can feel it there. So just using this. Now I really didn't think this was going to work actually. In fact, we're going to stick some tape on it as well, because I'm concerned the crack will actually increase due to the pressure of me doing the drilling. Do that both sides. That's through. I was concerned that the shellac of the record, or the fillers, the slate and stuff they added to make the records harder, would actually just blunt the drill bit, because it blunts gramophone needles pretty quickly. So I was worried it might just blunt the drill and the drill might not go through. Now I'm going to put a hole the other side of the crack in a similar position. Right, that's through. Now the other thing I was worried about is that the drilling would just cause a new crack, but that doesn't seem to happen. So let's see if I can get that on camera. Yes, I can see on this camera shot here the light coming through both of the holes. So I'm going to use a little bit of this wire now. I'm just going to cut off, I don't know, 2 or 3 inches, maybe 5 to 10 centimeters. Something like that. And just insert it through the holes. I think it's probably more difficult to film than it is to actually do. I see on the bottom of this one there has been a certain amount of cracking off the surface there, but it hasn't affected the playing area. So I'm going to go in from the other side. Like so. And I'm just going to twist the wire together. Just reposition one of the cameras. Right, I've over tightened that actually. That's now completely come off. Okay, so we're gonna have to do that again. The thing about experiments, they don't always go to plan. Right. Okay. I think that's visible in one of the cameras at least. You can see what I've done there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just clip it off. Fold it down. Then I'm going to use some cheap nail, well, it says nail polish. I call it nail varnish, but it seems to be called nail polish nowadays. important not to get this in the grooves. I think I might have got a smidgen in one of the grooves. That's probably okay, so I think we'll just leave that. So we'll leave that to dry now. This stuff does smell a bit. I'm sure it's giving off fumes which aren't good for you. I can't actually see any warnings on it, presumably because they expect you to use it in such small quantities that it's not a problem, but certainly not something to breathe a lot of, I would say. Probably best to use in a well ventilated area. So I'll leave that one to one side and we'll have a little look at the Little Marvel. And the Little Marvel is little, and it's actually called a Little Marvel as well. In fact, I think it's called the Little Marvel, strictly speaking. So what did I learn from the last time? Tape is a good idea, so we're going to put some tape on it. But this has a paper label, so I don't want to put it over the label. Tape is also, I think, a good idea to help me remember where the crack is. In fact, I could mark it. So the actual record is thicker, but the actual rim that I'm drilling into is thinner, not as wide, so I need to be quite careful when I drill the holes. So I've moved the cameras around a bit more. It's just proving very difficult to get this in shot. This record does actually seem to be a bit tougher than the other one as well, so just going to have to work at it, I think. Alright, is that through? Oh, it is, but it has chipped out a bit. Not great. Should still be okay though. Let's see the light through that one. There, isn't it? Yeah, and that one's through as well now. That was rather quicker. You can see on that camera there, you can see the two little holes. So yeah, not so easy that. Okay, let's see if we can get some wire in the holes. As I said, this is just an experiment. I don't really know how effective this repair is. Will it last? I can see some dangers, especially if played on a record player. If the stylus hits the repair in the rim for any reason, that's probably goodbye stylus. So there are all sorts of unanswered questions, but I think this form of sort of metal loop repair was done back in the day. Probably not exactly like this. Yeah, I'm trying to get it sort of flat on one side there. And just sort of twist it together. keep adjusting the cameras. Such a fiddly thing to show on camera. Right, so there we are. So I'm going to cut it. So if you're enjoying this video, then please do give it a like so that I know and that YouTube knows too. Thank you. So I'm going to put a dab of the nail varnish or the nail polish on again. Trying to keep it out the grooves. Okay, let that dry for a moment. So I should just mention before I put the records on that I've gone over with the nail varnish or the nail polish a couple more coats on both records, as I didn't think it really had sealed the wire in properly.
Mr. Right, can it be true? Well, it might. I have searched the whole world over. It's like looking for a four-leaf clover out of the blue, Mr. Right. But if you were to make advances and imagine that your chances might be right, you'd be right, Mr. Right.
Right, well that played okay, but there was definitely some clicking, and you can see where the needle has gone over the crack there, and it's not brilliant. I mean, it's definitely doing damage to the record. I'm pretty sure this this sort of staple thing in here is just not tight enough. It's not really doing the job. We'll try the other side though. And that's the same there on that side. So the repair, it's repaired, but it's not repaired in the way that I was hoping it's going to be. So that's going to continually get damaged. That's played on a gramophone. That crack's just going to get worse, unfortunately. It may not crack out anymore, but the actual chipping on the edge of the crack will get worse.
I've seen lots of funny things in my time, but there's one thing that I've not seen up to now. For years and years and years I've kept on searching, but I always seem to have bad luck somehow. To find the thing I'm searching for, around the world I've been, and now I'm going to tell you what it is I haven't seen. Well, I never, I've never seen a straight banana. I've searched every town, I've seen bananas standing up and seen them lying down. I've tried everywhere to find one, Africa, Jamaica and Havana, but I've never, I've never seen a straight banana. Well, I never.
Well, that unfortunately has a different problem. I think there might be a... Yeah, there's a needle ding there, which is a completely separate problem. It may be possible to repair that, but that's going to be really tricky. In terms of the crack itself, though, I mean, that's not disastrous. I think that one's a bit tighter. I think it's all about how tight I get this bit here. I'm going to change the needle and try the other side. Well, that doesn't look too bad. It will get worse as the needle goes over it, but it's not too bad. Seems that it's tight enough. Okay, so what did you think? You've heard the records and you've seen the results. Let me know in the comments, and also let me know if you've tried any other repair techniques yourself. As I said before, this is just an experiment. I've never tried this before. I didn't know quite how it was going to turn out. Okay, well, if you've enjoyed this video, then you'll probably like this one too. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.